I'll be your right-hand man.
Alrighty, as usual, it's Tuesday night. It's Scuba and the Rye. Thank you guys for coming to hang out with us.
Thank you.
A couple of quick announcements before we get into all the fun. The first thing being that we want to give a shout out and a thank you to Syrinscape for the background and soundboards. We got the ambient fire ambiance in the mountains for this first bit, and we'll kind of go through there. I've been working with Syrinscape for about a year now, and they are absolutely phenomenal. They got great sound sets for use in all your tabletop and board game activities, so go check them out at Syrinscape.com. Also want to the big shout out and thank you to our community, our followers, our subscribers, everybody who downloads and checks out our content. Much love, really appreciate it. And best way you can help is continue to share it out. Follow, like, subscribe, spread the word around, because the more we grow, the better we can get in our content and more fun stuff we can bring to y'all.
Yes, we bring this to you, and thank you for following and sharing this out to everybody out there.
How's our volume levels, Chad? Are we still looking good on the volume?
I think so.
Thanks, Shadow Mains. Appreciate that. Alrighty. Another thing, I wanted to announce that I got my Amazon affiliate program link back up and running. Should be a thing here on the Twitch panel. You can check out a couple of lists that I put together. One of them being the build for the PC that I'm using for production since, COVID and diving into this completely. It's totally worth it. It's going to work on some other lists, but at least that's enough to get started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, as you can see, we've got that Extra Life donation bar in there, working with Extra Life to raise money for the kids. So the more you contribute, the more we can help the kids, and we'll get into that as a little bit later. I think that's pretty much it. And you know what? I'm not going to make them wait any longer. We got a guest tonight, Rye.
Yeah, we have somebody special.
Yeah, very special, very talented, none other than Plunk Rock, Foul Fur, Mr. Joel Auge. Hey Joel, how we doing?
How are you guys doing? Good to be here. Man, really good.
Welcome.
Around it.
Totally.
All right, I can hear you now. I thought I couldn't hear you in my headset. Go figure.
There you go. Thanks for having me, Scoob. Hey, Rye Guy, how you doing?
Hey there. Welcome. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, see if maybe I'm just
double vision.
It's all good.
Double dip in
I've got
the
the link
ocean
up, so
waves.
hopefully he'll be able to bring him back in. But while we're waiting on Joel to come back, Rye, what you been up to, my friend?
I've been just a mixture of fun and busyness. Work is just forever training something or someone or doing something for Optima. But the more that healthcare expands, the more things I got to train. So that's on the work front. On the school front, getting bombarded by ODU emails. School starts August 15th, so of course grad school will be knocking at the door. Went to Farmhouse with you and my lovely girlfriend Angelica. We had a good time there, a couple drinks, and then was happy the rest of the night. And then had a birthday party over the weekend for my godson Alonzo on Sunday. Even though it rained, we have those shelters in the parks in Virginia Beach dry while it rained out around us. So other than that, playing a lot of Ghost of Tsushima. That's pretty much it. TV watching, movie watching, some I did finish up an anime series that I left hanging out there, Bungo Stray Dogs season 3. Good wrap up for that, and just looking forward to some of the new shows dropping this week.
What's dropping this week?
Umbrella Academy season 2 drops this week on Netflix. And then a movie to one of my favorite animes on Crunchyroll, Goblin Slayer, dropped this week too. So I'm gonna try to power through those before school starts.
Oh, that's always a bonus.
Yeah. Oh, you did? Yep, I just graduated from ODU Chelly.
Awesome. All right, so let's see. Let's get with my notes. I'm watching out for see if we can get Joel to come back. Hopefully he can. But alrighty, yeah. So Joe is joining us. As soon as we can get him back, we'll continue that conversation. Also, let's see. Well, what have
about
I
you?
been up to? I've been deep in the trenches trying to work on stuff for some stuff for an event coming up that we're going to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Back and forth conversations. Did have friends come over Sunday. They decided to want to shift to a new adventure, and that's the Descent into Avernus. So Sunday was spent as a character creation night. I get to read the module. They work on characters because they asked me to DM for them. Even though they know I'm busy doing things, but I kind of feel if I don't do it, then the group might fall apart. Maybe not. But, you know, I like to have fun. I'm watching that and all the other fun things. It's all about
Anything else going on?
Well, trying to have fun here,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, it was a good hangout at Farmhouse.
Yes,
we gotta make
Farmhouse
that
was a lot of fun to hang out. Oh, the food was good. Uh-oh.
We gotta make that a regular every couple weeks or so.
Totally.
Yep. Even if the governor puts the hammer down, we still can get in before curfew. Come back.
Joel, do we have you?
Bring him back from the abyss. Because
Hoping
he's
so.
been really missed.
Hello. I think I can fix it.
All right.
I hear voices.
I hear voices too.
Sheltered in the black. What was that? I don't know.
Shadster, I will totally talk about it in State of Game. I got a lot of great news today, so we can wait just a little bit longer. Just a little bit.
Yes, there is some good news.
Oh, I'll make sure I pass that along because I don't think Joel ran away to get more pie.
I only like pecan pie, so if it's not
No, I
pecan
didn't.
pie, I don't want it.
All right, looks like we're getting some. So it's just the video. All righty.
I see a video.
All right. Okay. I am back with a vengeance.
You are back.
Yep.
Are you riding a motorcycle with a vengeance? Flaming head?
Okay.
Alrighty, yes, and we have Joel back. Yay!
Yay!
So much for the patience. Apologies to all at home who want to see my ugly mug for whatever reason. But I'm here.
All good. There we go. All right, so before we were kind of interrupted, how you doing, Joel?
Oh man, I'm good. I'm better now that we're together. You know?
I always feel better together, you know, in a good good circle of friendships.
So we were just talking about all the various things we've been up to for the last week. We had a
Yes.
local brewery in the area called Farmhouse. So Ryan and I and his girlfriend went to visit at.
Nice.
So it was nice, get a couple of drinks and then go play some board games with friends. What about you? What you been up to? I know you are a very, very busy man.
I am. We're coming up on the last few days of our Kickstarter for Mythroll Armory for the D20, the flat D20s. So that's coming up
Nice.
in the next few days. We just finished the 3rd episode of Into the Mist. Was that last night? Was that
Yep,
last night?
that was last night.
That was last night.
I can understand if days feel like they're starting to bleed together.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in Barovia. Yeah, it's the mist. Everything is misty. Yeah, what else is going on? Gosh, we're finally making some headway on the Realmsmith Kickstarter, which has been a long time coming with COVID and all that stuff. So that feels like we're coming out of the clouds there as well.
That's good.
And gosh, there's just so much. Just planning and mapping out the strategies, the stories, the team. There's a lot going on. Realmsmith and Mythroll Armory are both just all pistons firing at once right now.
That's good. That's good. With everything been going on, it's nice to get all the rust shaken off and get moving.
Totally.
So, what can you tell us about the Realmsmith Kickstarter? Because I'm curious, and I'm sure quite a few people in the chat are curious too.
Oh well, I
Intrigued.
mean, we ran a Kickstarter for boxes. Gosh, it would have been last summer, and
That's the one where you could turn the box into the DM screen, right?
that's right.
Okay.
And so, I mean, COVID and a lot of things actually kind of came and became very well. We learned a lot. Let's put it that way from our Kickstarter about how not to run a Kickstarter. If I'm totally honest, we kind of bit more than we could chew, bit off more than we can chew on that one. So there's a number of things we committed to doing that we just, in retrospect, now having run a whole bunch of, or not a whole bunch of, but some other campaigns, and me and Dave, who plays Muskoka, we run a channel on YouTube called Kicking It, and we review a whole bunch of Kickstarters, and it became pretty clear after doing 5 or 6 of these different reviews of other people's Kickstarters that we had done the Realmsmith one just in the wrong way. And I don't think it certainly wasn't intentional, but it was just very, very complicated and ambitious. And we had a few people along the way tell us, gosh, this is a really ambitious Kickstarter. You guys sure you want to try that? And we're like, yeah, it'll be great. You'll love it. And
I mean, it's either go big or go home, right? I mean,
well,
to be honest, if you had gone any smaller, you might not have learned the stuff you learned.
that's true, but unfortunately, people don't really like to pay for other people's educations. Even parents avoid trying to pay for other people to be educated, their kids, namely. So because it's expensive, and you
Oh
want to get
yeah.
something out of your hard-earned money. So it became one of those things where we just felt like we had to kind of take our lumps, and decide to kind of do a combination of refund and fulfillment. We have a box business that's been going for a long time with Realmsmith. We have a whole bunch of stock in the warehouse, but it's just the completion of all the different higher end items that became impossible due to all of the different situations, like the shipping time from China, the actual production of content being supplied to a warehouse in China, and then partnerships with American suppliers when the boxes were being fulfilled in Canada. So there's only really very specific items that can move between our borders right now, and that's caused all kinds of crazy problems. So we've had to just go back to the community and say we're sorry, we can't fulfill this thing the way we wanted to. We will do what we can and refund the rest. And so that's the Kickstarter news for Realmsmith. It's sad, but at least we're making progress, and we're trying to regain some of the trust that's lost when you tell people you're going to give them something for their money, and then they don't see anything for a while. It's really hard to regain people's trust. So that's what we're trying to do. It's called Project Regain Trust, is what we've called it. So yeah.
Being a fairly new member of the Realmsmith community myself, and from what I've seen, I think the community is more than a little patient and understanding. So I don't think I don't think you're gonna necessarily lose a lot from attrition, but I think you definitely have a pretty loyal fan base at this point.
Well, we just want to keep it that way. I mean, we know. Here's what's unfair is at GaryCon last year, not this one, but the one before. It was the first time we ever met Matt Mercer. The day that GaryCon started was the day. Sorry, the day that GaryCon started was the day that they had closed their $11 million Kickstarter for Critical Role's comic series.
Oh, wow.
So we were going into the Kickstarter thinking like, oh my goodness, people love Dungeons and Dragons. This is going to be amazing, and we have to live up.
Are we talking the comic or the show?
The show, sorry.
Okay. Because I was thinking, because I remember when they released that thing for their animated show, that like was like stupid wildfire type.
Yeah, and so it was just this weird coalescing of like hearing from him, meeting him, seeing the success of the Kickstarter, wanting to run our own Kickstarter, kind of falling into this whole realm of Dungeons and Dragons along with other people who are succeeding in this community, and then that kind of fueled the ambition of us at Realmsmith to try to do more than we could do. And you find us a year and a bit later, and it's like, where is everything? So that's, and then COVID, which is not an excuse, but it's an excuse because it's valid, right?
Yeah, I mean,
it's
COVID has caused a lot of things to be rethought. I mean, I'm sitting here, been kind of dabbling in the whole content creator space, and finally, with COVID and getting laid off because of it, now I have all of this time to pour into it, and I'd have to say it's been amazingly explosive. I mean, in getting involved with the Realmsmith community, getting a D&D show started that is kind of trying to be as cooperative with the community as possible.
Yeah.
And then in this situation, I get to have you, one of the first people of the Realmsmith family, to come onto the show, which it's like someone had suggested I try and get y'all on to interview, and it's like, all right, the hit list has started. Lack of a better term. I know the hardest person to get will be Jason, because that's a huge bounty.
Well, he's I mean, he's also, never mind. I was gonna say something derogatory, but I won't, because he's my friend. And
yeah, that's not cool.
He's a diva. He'll never do it. That's what I was gonna say. No, he'll do it.
I think I can amass the army of Barovians.
Oh, do it. That's the way to do it. Just hold something over his head in game, and he'll figure it out. He'll make it happen.
Awesome. Well, that's definitely a lot. Oh, the Mythroll Armory Kickstarter about to start, right? Yeah, we're finishing the cards, and then you've got another one that you're about to drop, right?
Yes. So we fit this this 1020 Mythroll Armory Kickstarter as a 2-weeker, because we are working on a relatively large one, hopefully with puzzle boxes. So it's in conjunction and in partnership with our friend Brandon Perkins, who DM'd Order of Dragonsbane on our YouTube channel, and also plays Sterling in Into the Mist, and played Snow in Wildmount. So we're working with Brandon to release a puzzle box, which is going to be super cool. Nice. Like, basically, as a DM, buy these 5 puzzles that we've built a little bit of a campaign narrative on and examples how to use, and they'll be this is a sneak peek. This is something we're working on right now, but
we're not going to tell anybody, right, chat? We're going to keep it all to ourselves.
There's a few people in here, so but effectively what we would like to have accomplish is the Kickstarter represents the first campaign kind of narrative, and then if you back at different levels, when we reach certain milestones, stretch goals per se, you unlock new campaigns to use these particular puzzles with. So they're very open puzzles. You can use them in tandem, you can use them individually, but the combination of them in different structured storylines is kind of the interesting part. So we're really, really pumped about it, and I think it's going to be awesome. So super excited about that one. Yeah. Really excited.
I'm excited. I'm gonna have to ask us, hey, can I get one to test?
We might have to send you one.
That would be awesome.
One for Scuba.
Really, really cool.
So, all right. So we got that. So real quick, I know we're gonna have more questions for Joel, and I know a character that Brandon's gonna play here soon. I'll talk about more about that in a few minutes. But let's get into our movie review this week. I don't know if you've had a chance to see this movie, but we have. Switch over. As usual, Rye, the proprietor of RyeReviews.com, has worked on another movie for us. This is called Old Guard.
Yes, sir.
With Charlize Theron. Great movie. I had a chance to check it out today. But Rye, take it away and tell us about The Old Guard.
All right, The Old Guard is a film on Netflix, so it's available to anybody that has Netflix, and it's an adaptation of a graphic novel, which I learned along the way. I did not know that. The central idea is that the Old Guard focuses on a group of mercenaries that are immortal to an extent, and they are exposed by a certain group in the film, and they want to use the immortals to create their own like living breathing drug, or try to take over the world that way. So basically they have enemies on all fronts. Not only do they have to go against this like corporation in the movie, a new immortal emerges that they have to take under their wings and teach her how to understand her powers and how to live within it. So basically, the story focuses on this group of mercenaries fighting this corporation and making sure that the knowledge of their secrecy doesn't get exposed to the world. And that's pretty much the premise. But what makes this film very enjoyable is a twofold approach. One is the focus of the theme of what is immortality and the action. Those are the two big things in the film that I was glued to from beginning mid to end. The action is so precise and top notch; it just catches you off guard. And the unpredictability with that inclusion of immortality creates a dynamic where how far can they go with fighting and how much damage can they take in each fight. And that coincides with that theme of immortality. The one great thing that I appreciate about this film, which I told Scuba before the podcast, is how they handle what immortality is. They do live a long life, but there is a finite point to where it ends. But when that ends, there's a mystery to it. And the way the exposition is told is through character conversation, which I appreciate more, because it's not force-fed. It's not given to you on a silver plate. It's broken down through conversation, so it allows a more humanistic approach to characters that would be deemed godly. So overall, the film is very fast-paced, very precise with the action, and then when it gets into the final 20 minutes, everything comes to head. I think it gets kind of shaky near the end because there's a lot of foreshadowing techniques that it's obvious or what will happen at the end. A couple twists, a couple typical action archetypes with the villains, but overall, it is a fun-filled journey with Charlize Theron in the lead, and it definitely was a treat to watch on Netflix. Take it away, Scuba.
Yeah, like I said, I had a chance to check this out earlier today, and I actually fell in love with it, especially toward the latter part. Being a veteran and being someone who was who's a former Marine himself, I really do appreciate some of the way some of those influences, just as a kind of a, not so much a militaristic, but the fact a team that has worked together so long that they can predict each other's movements and a complementary to those movements. There's a whole sequence in the latter part of the film where it's like you're just watching it and it's just like yes, it's choreographed, I get it, it's Hollywood, but man, it looked really, really cool watching it from point to point to point.
It was really, really awesome, and it shows that bond.
Yeah, it's like seeing the team of players in Into the Mist kind of really work together.
Exactly. And actually a good tie-in for that, as well as the previous season with Tides. And this is not so much the characters, but the fact that all of you at the table, being able, you're even with Into the Mist, having Dave Muskoka come in, who's completely new and completely out of left field character, which I'm sure there's some background stories that'd be great.
Oh yeah, there's a lot.
Pester him about at some point. But the fact that because you guys have been playing at the table so long and friends so long, your character choices and your character builds all inadvertently complement each other, I think.
It is fascinating to see a story where an actual team needs each other's abilities to get things done, and it's really cool to see storytelling like that in Hollywood, because it's like, there are ensemble casts. I think of like the the
Ocean's 11.
What are the casino heist ones?
Ocean's 11.
Yeah,
11,
Ocean's 11.
right?
Yeah,
It's
with
like
George Clooney, Brad Pitt. That was
exactly when
A
you're
great Steven
able to tell a
Soderbergh
story of a group of people coming together to accomplish a task, nefarious or not. It's really impressive that the storytellers can weave that thing together. It's great.
All right. Was there anything that was kind of shortfalling on this film? Or?
The only shortfall is the fact that it is predicated on a typical action outline. So it's like, even with the strong themes and the strong character and the strong ensemble cast, the outline itself is very relative to the genre. So when they foreshadow things, you kind of knew how things were going to happen beat by beat. But that's pushed to the wayside because of the great acting, the great bond between everybody, and just like you pointed out, just watching them in action is, even though it's choreographed, there's a realistic approach to that choreography. Like when they're walking through the hall and they're tapping their shoulder and they're turning and they're just one-shot kills so quick, it just catches you off guard.
Well, I think that's part of the experience.
Yeah.
The other thing I really like about this is this feels like kind of a modern Highlander.
There can only be.
If you think about the original Highlander story, is these are just random individuals across time that just happen when they die, something activates, and then they every time they're killed they come back unless they're decapitated. What is nice about this is there is an actual end point.
Yeah.
This does not require decapitation to kill one. And I think that's also a sign of how you take an idea and give it new life, because the whole "I'm immortal" is kind of a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
Once you say it, that's it. I mean, unless you come up with something. I mean, how many creative ways can you kill an immortal? Well, sooner or later you get bored.
Yeah.
But so Ryan, what would you call this one?
Overall, I think the Old Guard, it was a genuine treat. The action is top notch. The character development is good, and the way they don't stupefy the exposition is great. But it is an action film. It does predicate on a generic outline, so you kind of see what's going to happen near the end. But overall, I would say it would be worth seeing at the theater as a matinee, so 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, Joel, have you had a chance to check this one out? You're muted, my friend.
I haven't, but now I will.
It is on
Yep.
Netflix, so it is up there, and it did tease near the end of a possible kind of sequel.
Yeah.
What that sequel would be, who knows?
We'll see. We don't want to spoil it too much more, but
No.
that's our review. If you want to check out more reviews, go to ryreviews.com, all one word, and check out all of his reviews. And if you have a suggestion for a review, go and reach out to us via social media or through our Discord, and we can put that on our list to check out.
Yep, I did comb, so I do have a few movies coming down the pipeline. So
That we on to State of Game. Now, typically, normally, State of Game, we would sit there and talk about the various games we were playing and what we were playing, which we could still do. However, we're going to do this with Joel because Joel is an avid gamer, even maybe not video game yet, which we might get him to tell us about any video games he has a chance to play. Or talk about the tabletop things. But before we get into that, I have been teasing about this for a couple of shows, and I'm now going to sit there and reveal. And Shadster, I think if I don't reveal it soon, he might come through the Discord and strangle me.
yeah, he's gonna explode.
But, on August 7th, I'm going to start a 24-hour live stream to raise money for Extra Life. This is a thank you to the community for helping me reach affiliate status, which, to be honest, I didn't expect I'd reach 6 months into active streaming, and I did. So I have to thank the community. As part of that, I'm going to do something special, and I'm going to have a charity one-shot D&D adventure. This is a module out of a dungeon mag from the early 90s, issue 35. It's called Twilight's Last Gleaming. And my cast has been assembled. They are working on their characters. That cast will be Shadster here is one of our moderators for here, as well as on the Realmsmith community. John A is also a moderator from the Realmsmith community. He'll be joining us. And the big news is the fact that we will have Brandon Perkins, we will have David Sheen, and just confirmed today, Adam Maines.
Nice.
So we have got Sterling, Bolt, and Rowan. I'm saying that right? Yeah, I've got their characters in my head. But all three of them will be joining this. This will be a lot of fun. We plan to start at about 4 p.m. Eastern time on the 7th, and we will go until the module is complete. So, yeah, this is going to be fun. These are all level 8 characters. They have been working on that. Been having a lot. This is a lot of what I've been working on over the weekend is on building maps through Incarnate, working on creatures, because this is a 2nd edition module, so I have to upscale it to 5th edition.
Wow.
And all they know is the environment they're going to be in is going to be extremely cold. It's going to be like this is like an Arctic area kind of thing. So there was questions about cold weather gear. There was questions about what they can get. I gave them a very generous starting wealth because that was the first challenge. How are you going to prepare for what I have in mind? This is supposed to be a strategic and tactical game, which people have seen me play in a lot of the games I play. I tend to have kid gloves on for newer players because newer players tend to do things that are a little crazy, like set a house on fire while you're on the 2nd floor. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out Challenge Accepted and see those shenanigans. But yeah,
That's crazy.
I'm so excited. No, I'm not planning TPK, but death is an option. But given the players that we're going to have, I imagine this is going to be wild. So far, these character builds are wild.
The person I fear the most in a scenario like that is David Shaheen. Because he's such a technical player. So, yeah, that should be really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was asked. It was asked, could we do a kind of a higher level game? And it was like, all right, well, this module calls for level 8 characters. Like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
So it's very much, I get to take the kid gloves off. I calculate weather. I calculate all of it. And I never have one option for getting out of a situation.
Scuba, are you doing, so you are upping to 5th edition. You're not going to THACO them 2nd edition or anything like that? That's good, because they would suck. No, I'm just kidding. They'd be great.
I'm so fuzzy on 2nd edition. I just don't want to do that but it is a challenge because not every monster has transferred up. Right. So that adds some new challenges. But on the same token, 5th edition I think is very nice in the fact that it's very much an easy way for you to take elements and kind of merge them together. And I spend a lot of time actually, I guess for lack of a better way of describing it, I study D&D almost academically.
Yeah.
Between listening to people like Chris Perkins, all of those guys over there at D&D, when they talk about lore and everything else, and looking at that. And I have amassed a pretty decent collection of 2nd edition, 3rd edition, all of these resources for doing it. Because I kind of set up the clubhouse. I want people to come here and game, and if they want to DM, I want to have the supplies they need. And I don't mind DMing because as long as we're at the table having fun, then I feel good about it. I don't need to be a player, but it's having the social interaction at the table. I mean, you can attest. I mean, even all this crazy stuff going on with Jason and the rest of them there. It's like getting at the table is a highlight of the week, and you never know what's going to happen. Whether it's, give somebody dissident whispers in the middle of the night just to pick on them, or run through a city with a pie.
Yeah.
But, that's what I've been doing. Joe, what about you? What other games have you been doing besides the ones we all know you for?
Oh gosh, well, I have an 10-year-old, 7-year-old, and 5-year-old who are all crazy Minecrafters. So we play Minecraft together all the time. It's both a creative outlet for me and the kids, and it kind of stops most fights.
Yes.
because they have their quadrant of the screen that they can play on, and they kind of now they'll kill each other nonstop if you let them. So I tend to kind of set some rules. Silas, who's the 5-year-old, is the most dangerous Minecraft player because he'll just wipe you out on. We only play survival mode, which means that you have to respawn if you die and you lose all your stuff. So the kids take it pretty seriously. It was pretty fascinating actually. Downloaded Monster Hunter. Have you guys ever played Monster Hunter?
Yes.
That was super cool because I would say that's probably one of the more recent hardcore RPG kind of D&D aligned character creation games that I've played, and I had to take a screenshot and video of the main character and Matt Mercer's voice coming through the console. I was like, what? Dude, this is creepy. So anyways, that's so I love Monster Hunter, but I've spent the vast majority of my gameplay time playing Minecraft with my kids.
I got a question from the chat. My moderators are being nice to let me know. Question for Joel. You mentioned a potential to DM a game with your kids. Any updates on that?
It's still in the conceptual phases. I'll call it that. I admittedly am not as good a planner as perhaps the other guys are. So Jason and Brandon, when they DM, they really put a lot into it. So they've set the bar really high for Realmsmith games, and I really do want it to be a Realmsmith, like a value add to the Realmsmith channel for people around the internet who want to see how to play Dungeons and Dragons with their kids. I would never have been allowed to play Dungeons and Dragons as a kid, let alone my parents being the dungeon masters. It seems kind of weird, but I think there's a lot of lessons to be taught through Dungeons and Dragons that you can kind of walk a child's mind through, assuming you care about your child's mind. Some parents don't, but I do, and it would be really, really, really interesting to see their reactions. Now, they are kids from this generation, so getting them to sit around a table for any length of time would be it would be the biggest challenge. I'd have to pay them with candy or some other
Not necessarily.
No?
No.
How would you do it?
I actually have a little bit of experience on this.
Okay.
My son and his friends wanted to play D&D, and they asked me to DM for them. I DM'd for, I want to say 2 years with them. They would come over, and when we sat down to play, they would be there to play. Granted, if it wasn't their turn or whatnot, they would kind of lose focus. But just like with any D&D, any game, it's once you find something that draws their attention in,
Okay.
whether it's a quirk about the character or just a way you describe the setting. And biggest thing was I never took the setting seriously. I took it because my attitude is the game is about the players telling the story. I set a scene, they act in the scene. If I don't try, as long as I don't try to railroad them, kids will actually keep attention. Yes, they may come up with crazy ways to metagame, and sometimes they get burned for it.
Yeah.
But I think I think once you have that conversation, okay, what's your character want to do? How do you want to do it? And since you have that varying range in ages, not all of them are going to think as detailed as you are. So it's that kind of nudge them, and if you got to dumb down the rules to allow them to get that, it's where they're invested. Like, I clobbered the orc with my hammer. It's like, great. That's awesome.
Yeah, totally.
1 point for you.
Yeah, I really do. I think that they would. I think they're super creative kids. They'd be great. It's more, it's that attention span. I would need to engage them collectively well, and so that would be my challenge. But I'm up to it. I would also, there's the other guys in the Realmsmith crew who have kids, and would be interesting to kind of bring the kids together or take turns, right? Like maybe my family and Dave's family, and then Brandon's family, and Jason's family, and Adam, who's trying to build a family, will eventually be able to do it. But it would just be fascinating to do, and I think there's a huge vacuum right now for this kind of content. And gosh, we're all stuck together in our homes, so it would be really fun to do. I have the perfect basement for it too. This is a massive room. I could just put a dark little dungeon in the middle, and it would be really fun.
So you're gonna try and rival Jason's, or dare I say Joe Manganiello's dungeons?
Wow, I mean, not Joe's, because Joe has his career paying for all of his gear. Let's put it that way.
It's one of those things. I would just D&D people you'd like to hang out with, and Joe. I have to say, Joe, you guys and Critical Role crew are kind of in there, kind of fighting for that top 3 spots. But it's more or less just seeing Joe's what he did to that dungeon and made it, and using the architecture was awesome. Yeah. Seeing the collection of miniatures that we're always teased about in Jason's basement.
Yes. Oh my goodness. There are so many minis in Jay's basement. You have no idea. It's actually starting to be a problem. It's everyone's sense, right? Because we're sponsored by WizKids, and we use Reaper Mini in the boxes, minis in the boxes, and it's like people are sending commission work, and so you go to Jay's house and you're like, dude, we've got to do something with all of these minis that you've painted. They're everywhere. It's incredible.
Well, I mean,
and he's also a collector of like larger statues, and he's inspired by other people's art. So he has quite the collection. It's crazy.
That's scary cool. It really is. Rye, what you been doing with Ghost of Tsushima?
Ghost of Tsushima. Well, that's literally the only game I'm playing right now, other than taking Kodak moment shots and posting them all over my Instagram. I've been raiding the main island, gathering my allies. I did manage to go and complete Act 1, which is you save your uncle from Castle Kanata. So I was thinking, this is just me probably just being a dum-dum. It's like I was trying to figure out, how is there like 80, 90 hours worth of gameplay on this small island? And then when I zoomed out on the map, I had the aha moment. It's like, oh, there's 2 other islands. So after I saved my uncle, the uncle last night, and we strolled into the new island, I saw where all the other content comes in. But it's been fun. I've been just in exploration mode on the island, going to different shrines. The Fox Den, I've unlocked all the 4 stances, so now I'm just leveling up and just making my way through the other islands. It's just so fast paced, and it's so wonderful to be able to play an action game where it's a hack and slash, but you have to be smart when you're fighting against certain enemies, and being able to just toggle between all the different stances and having all the different like ghost weapons. I have granadas and smoke bombs and black bombs. Like there's a variety of ways you can fight, and you can create dynamics to where you can just quickly link assassinations while in the same action. So it's been pretty fun.
Wow.
But like I said, I've been posting a lot of photos on my Instagram of the game, and also some random like 1-2 minute videos of some fights on my YouTube. So check it out.
Yeah, that's a very interesting game. Have you heard anything about that one, Joel? You're muted again.
I haven't.
If you get the chance to check it out, I would totally suggest it. It's an open world, but unlike a lot of open world action RPGs like the Assassin's Creed franchise and whatever, the UI is very minimalistic.
Yes, very,
You're not
very
bombarded with 20 different widgets telling you this and that. It's literally a minimalistic approach, which makes it really kind of pretty. And you can find places where you can sit down and enjoy the scenery and write a haiku. I mean, this is the world of video games we've gotten into. It's like we're not all about following the rails to get to the end. It's let's stop and literally smell the flowers.
You literally, it's a living and breathing world. Like every aspect is every aspect of it. It's not just you know how open worlds, there's a lot of things to do, but you know it feels gamey. This is a truly living and breathing world. Like you interact with the people. Sometimes you'll just come and you'll just talk to NPCs just to have a conversation. But then again, and then you'll stroll down the road and take out a handful of Mongols, and then save somebody that leads into another mission, and burn down a log cabin, and then voila. So yeah.
All the things you need in feudal Japan.
Yes. So this game was actually like a dream come true because I've been dreaming of a samurai open world game. This fulfilled my wish.
Nice. Alrighty, so with that, let's I got any more questions in the chat for Joel? I know I have a few, and that's tell us a little bit about you and what you've been working on. I've heard bits and pieces of various projects you've worked on or whatever, so maybe if you don't mind taking a few minutes and give us your quick biography.
Oh, there's no such thing as a quick Joel Auge biography.
You don't have to put it in a song. How about that?
No, but I wrote a song. No, just kidding. I don't know. I was an artist signed to Sony Music in Nashville for many years, and then after that, I started a gaming company. We built one of the first games on Facebook called Mouse Hunt. It's still one of the big, it is one of the longest lasting games on Facebook. So
Congrats.
still strong, still in that company. It's great. Kind of the first monetized game on Facebook, which is awesome. And then so I was the CEO of that company for 7 years, and then I started a company for fans, for basically fans of music artists. So that was a company I started with an artist called Sean Mendez, who is a Canadian kind of pop kid. And then I started working with charities, helping to kind of help them connect with people, monetize, better monetize their online communities.
Oh wow!
Understand how to engage with their supporter online, and that led me to it's kind of a strange thing, but that's all content, right? Like all of those things, it's all making content. So then a TV station in Canada came and asked me, like, hey man, we don't know how to do anything online. Would you come and join us? And you can be our chief information officer. Chief growth officer is effectively what the title is now. And so I was like, huh, linear television, it's probably dying. Yeah, let's jump there. And I'm an executive at a TV network in Canada called Yes TV. And so yeah, I do that in the day at home because everyone's at home.
Yeah.
And I've always been an entrepreneur. Like I don't know how to stop that. I don't know how to cut that off. So then Realmsmith is like my baby with Jason and Tim, and Mythroll Armory is my other child with another legitimate husband named David Morin. And
I'm sorry, I just can't hold a straight face of that because I see you and Dave and whatnot you guys been up to.
Right there.
That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. Just the chemistry in the sense that you two playing off each other at the table so much, and then getting into the spinners and
yeah,
it's been wild.
It is a crazy. You know what? It's similar to when this is dumb because these guys all went on to be billionaires. But I'll use this analogy because my hope is that we'll all go on to be billionaires. The guys from PayPal, when they started PayPal, so like Elon Musk was at PayPal and Peter Thiel was at PayPal and a whole bunch of like the world billionaires were at PayPal when it started. And they've gone on to do their own separate things, but they've all been quasi-successful. I see the Realmsmith crew a little bit like that. Like we all have our creative bends. We all have the things we want to do. We're in support of each other's efforts. And we see that idea of the rising tide raising all boats. So as Realmsmith succeeds, the goal is that everyone else who's along for the ride for Realmsmith succeeds. And likewise, as these other projects succeed, we get to contribute to Realmsmith's growth, and you know that's all fun.
It works. I mean, all the stuff interacts together. I mean, I mean, the dice spinner is like for those people. I see that as okay. You've got a small table and you want to play, and you don't have room to be chucking a bunch of dice around.
Yeah.
Roll a spinner. I mean, granted, it's nice for single dice rolls.
Yeah.
So I hate for somebody to challenge you to try and do a fireball with a dice spinner.
We can ship some d6s with them. I mean, we're not telling. See, here's the interesting thing. There's no rule on the dice spinner that says that you're not allowed to have other dice at the table. Like, you don't have to throw away everything else you own just to own this thing. Although, if you're that loyal to the dice spinner, we're okay with it.
I'm talking about just the fact you can have it there, you can spin it, you don't have to worry about the dice falling off the table, or somebody sitting there, oh, it's leaning against my laptop on the table. I can re-roll that, right? Right?
Yeah, and it's just like D20s have been the same, and everyone's making D20s the same way, and it's like it's great. It's worked really well. But is there a different take on it? And I think that kind of is reminiscent or indicative of the kind of people that we are. We're just crazy enough to go to people and say like, your D20 is dumb. Check out this one. You know, like, it's crazy. So we just don't let other people say no, I guess is the question. Is the way we approach it.
That works. That works. That's quite the repertoire of talent you got going on.
And all of it only partial talent. So that's good.
It's always about who you surround yourself with. We've talked about it numerous times. Who you surround yourself with is indicative of how successful you are. And if you're not successful, it's how you're going about it and who you're around. Because, you know, negativity will weigh you down, even the best ideas. So
yeah, and great people, man. You want them to win, you know. And so it's just don't optimize the world for jerks. Try not to make the world easy for people who are terrible. So when you find someone great that you can partner with and kind of appreciate and feed into or invest into, yeah, you just do it. It's fun that way.
I got another question for you. This is from one of my balladeers, Mayflower. Question for Joel: what is your favorite thing about playing D&D?
I've kind of shared this before on the Players Table, which is on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. for those who haven't watched.
Check it out on Realmsmith's Twitch channel on Thursday nights.
That's correct.
You'll probably see me sitting in the chat as well.
Thanks for that, by the way.
You're welcome.
My favorite thing is that it's reminiscent of being in a band. I love being in a band because it's kind of what we were just talking about. You're kind of setting up a song with other people. You don't know what they're going to do, but you know that they're good enough that they're going to do something that'll surprise you. So that's the surprise element, the improvisational element, the creative narrative. You know, like it is a storytelling game, kind of a serial storytelling game on steroids. That is on. There are so few art. I would call it art because there's so few. How would you say it? Art endeavors or projects or things that have to do with the creative process that are so collaborative. Jazz music, a jam band if you're really good, and D&D, like our tabletop RPGs, right? So that's why I love it so much.
Yeah, it's a great thing to all the talent at the table, because obviously a band of all bass players won't sound as good as somebody who does bass, somebody who does drums, somebody who does the piano, all of that. So
for sure.
Got a comment. Comment is for Joel needs to bard for us sometime.
Chadster, I made you promise not to ask that.
I didn't give it away, I swear. Anyways, another question for you. This is from Shadowmanes. What is your favorite Monster Hunter weapon or monster?
Monster and weapon.
That's not fair. There's like, it's really early on in the game because that's all I could actually do with my kids. Probably It's one of the major. I don't know. It's one of the swords right off the bat. One of the first ones. It's got like a long chain along the back of it. I forget what it's called now. I haven't played in like 6 weeks, so I don't remember the names exactly. But the whole
I'm not a
really killer.
Yeah, I love the game. I don't play it as much, and I know Shadowmane's. He's one of my friends, and he's a streamer who does a lot of Monster Hunter.
Yes.
Oh, well, then he's the pro. I'm just like I'll go in, I'll die all the time, and then I leave.
At least you have fun doing it. Though,
I understand.
right?
I understand the feeling. I understand the feeling. Same thing for me. I go in, I die, I give it a chance, and then I just like nah.
Oh yes, the hunting horn, of course.
Teach me, wild one.
Teach me, Shadowmanes.
You will be our teacher.
Alrighty, well, I think we're good on that. So let's move into our odds and ends.
Oddies and endies.
For all you, where we find random internet stories and we talk about our reactions to them. As usual, Rye is very good about finding me really crazy and wild stories to talk about.
Yes, I'm really good at finding the stories. I have some fun news feeds, and sometimes things just pop up and be like, that is a story to talk about.
And probably our first one is recently Comic-Con which we know Comic-Con and all the other conventions have been canceled because of COVID. Well, Comic-Con did a at-home event where they would stream it because that's the new thing.
Yeah.
And there was a tease, and for a lot of us in a particular age, we all can remember this show and this channel and would love to see it come back, and that is the G4 Network. Teased that they will be back in 2021.
Yes, sir.
This is one of those early inspirations to get into this whole content thing, because I watched a lot of their older podcasts to talk about games at an intellectual level, not just a go through this room and defeat the boss by doing this thing 3 times. It was, all of that background stuff. Rye, what are your thoughts on
that? Just the thought of it coming back, regardless of what form it is, TV network, streaming, some kind of podcast. G4 was one of those things that kind of popularized the idea of video game discussions. Like you said, it's not just you just run in, complete the level up, or race your car around the track or complete a touchdown in Madden. They actually had discussions. They talked about things. They broke in depth. And it is one of those things that I thoroughly enjoyed when I was watching back in the day. So I'm excited for this coming back. Regardless of what form it is, I know they're going to be able to bring something genuine with how big the community has grown from the inception of this channel back in the day. So,
what are your thoughts, Joel?
Yeah, I mean, in Canada we got G4 Tech TV, and really, like, I really enjoyed the G4 stuff. We didn't have the full network though that I know about. Oh. So we got limited snippets in on the networks that were carrying it nationally, like whatever they were selling as individual shows at that point in time.
Oh wow!
Do you guys know if this is going to be like a Twitch network? Is it going to be like a linear television network?
They haven't released a lot. They just had a teaser video that said that looked like they were coming back.
Okay.
So because this is the kind of stuff we talk about here, we're probably going to keep track of this. And if it's an online streaming thing, then even better.
More than likely, with the way the world has evolved into heavy streaming, regardless if it's like Netflix or Hulu or Twitch or any other podcasting, it's probably going to be in that form. That's my guess. Educated guess.
Well, we will have to wait and see.
Ongoing story, probably.
All right. Speaking of online streaming content,
what do we got streaming with swords? Maybe.
We do. Netflix has announced that they are doing a Witcher prequel series that is set 1,200 years before Geralt's story. Yeah.
Yes.
This is it's going to be called The Witcher Blood Origin. Like I said, 1,200 years before The Witcher. It's slated to be a 6-part series discussing the origin of the first Witcher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is also AKA how not to screw up world lore by going far enough in the past.
Yeah, because I think HBO's doing that with Game of Thrones. Let's just prequel this stuff. That way we can't jack it up.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they're going back in time and just making sure that it doesn't have any consistency problems. But um, as reported on Screen Rant, it does bring to light that Netflix has found one of their another diamond in the rough. They have another series they can prop up on their channel, be like, hey, look at all this content coming out. Not only do you have this prequel, you have the season 2 coming out, and then just various other things that they can adapt from this novel plus the games. There's just so much story to tell. And just a side note, Witcher 3 is my favorite game of all time. I love that game. So just wanted to plug that in there.
The Witcher games are so diverse. The story is great, but I think it's the fact that Netflix, one season of a show, and not even before the season fully was out, they're like, we greenlit season 2. Season 2 started. It's on hold right now, like everything else because of COVID. And they're like, yeah, we're just going to do a third show. I mean, that faith in the brand, I think, is really telling as far as how much money they're putting toward doing this.
Yeah, and it goes to show how Netflix is just willing to pump content into new IPs, create original content for the fans. They hear what the fans have said and they're like, explode. And just to plug, if you want to see, we did reviews of the episodes of The Witcher, so check it out on our channel.
Yes, as one of our earliest attempts at making content, we did an episode by episode review, as well as a season review of The Witcher and of The Mandalorian. Go over to Scuba Studio on YouTube, and you can find those playlists and check those out. And we will bring those back when those second seasons do finally drop. Joel, what are your thoughts on this? Did you get a chance to check out The Witcher?
I have, yeah. One sec.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I have. Love the original book. I wonder whether or not, if at times Netflix just makes these choices because they have so much data on the kind of viewership they're going to have from this type of genre of show. Because they could just keep making Witcher and series, and people will just watch them because there are so many. There's such a large audience for this kind of content.
Agreed.
And it's indicative. Oh, guys, I do have to jump off, but
okay,
I will say, yeah, I'm looking forward to the new series going back in time. I wish I could join you for the other walks all over the internet, by the way, but I cannot.
Oh.
That is Jason calling me on the phone and going, "Where are you right now?"
I hope I'm not keeping you late for another thing.
No worries, man. I so appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. You're always welcome to come back again and hang out with us.
Nice meeting you.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good show. Bye.
That was nice.
All right. Okay. So that being said, let's go ahead and move on over to our next one.
Boom.
That is a bit on Microsoft is teaming up with the NBA to do. Microsoft has an application called Teams, and it allows you to do virtual meetings. Well, they're partnering with the NBA to bring teams or bring fans back to the game via Microsoft Teams. Ryan, take it away.
Yes, this is an article on The Verge, and basically this team up, they're bringing in one of their new modes in Teams called Together Mode. So what this mode allows you to do is that people can virtually stand in the game and be as if they're at the game and actually there, but virtually. They're partnering because one, it's a way to bring fans back to the games because of the situation, but it also creates a new experience for people to experience the basketball games. I think this is a really fun and good treat. It is another way, which I talked about before the show, is that it's creating a new avenue for not only being interactive virtually, but also creating a new avenue to being interactive in crowd-based events. So if this is successful, it's going to create more avenues for other venue kind of things.
And the thing is, the tech side of this is interesting because there's the tech inside the application they're going to be using that's within Teams is supposed to basically take a cutout of your profile from your picture on the video and place it in the seat to where you look like you'd be sitting next to everybody within this display. Now, the picture we have up here is kind of a mock-up, but these are like massive LED screens that surround the court, and it allows you to hear and interact. And the fact that this has encouraged other broadcasters to kind of rethink their entire layout on how they cover a game to bring that game to the online viewing in a better capacity. There was a little anecdote about baseball games were actually pumping in pre-recorded sounds from the bleachers to kind of help keep that environment and that ambiance of being at a game there, even though you're watching virtually.
Yeah, and they are using MLB The Show as a way to pumping up real crowd noise for that. So another notch to the video game industry. But yeah, this is a whole new world. If I would like to coin a Disney phrase.
Really? We had to go there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we did.
All right. We went there. I get it. All right. I don't have much else on that one, so we're going to move into our next one.
Okay.
And that is an update from the Googles. All right. And apparently, Google has announced that they are allowing their employees to continue to work from home until 2021. This was an article from NPR. Originally, Google was sitting there saying that they were thinking to have all of their employees back in the office by the end of this year. Turns out that because of recent updates with the pandemic and whatever, and the fact that we're looking more long term, Google has went ahead and said, "Look, you don't need to be in the office. Then we're going to extend our work from home until June 30th, 2021." So virtually a whole year where they don't have to be in the office. And this is kind of indicative to the rest of the tech community, with the rest of tech companies. Companies like Facebook and Twitter and whatnot have already been looking at how to restructure their workforce towards permanent work from home as opposed to every so often work from home, right?
As you mentioned, reported on NPR, this is just another way of thinking. It's revolutionizing the way that people work and creating more avenues to work from home, and companies being given more leeway to work from home, like Google until July, like you said, Facebook and Twitter trying to make it permanent. It's they're not only looking at what benefits the company, but also taking in the health and safety of their own employees into play. This is not only affecting tech companies, this is affecting various other companies, including my own company, which we probably won't be coming back till 2021 either. So it's creating a avenue to where it's rethinking the work life, how you work, where you work, what involves in working, and hopefully this will produce more investment and broadband capacity throughout, especially the United States, because it's not as strong as in places like Japan and Korea. So
It'll be very interesting.
yes.
All right. We're picking up steam now. I'm sorry. Let's see. And our last one we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about those. It's getting to be August. It's hot. It's miserable. We all want to find a way to keep cool, but we're not the only ones trying to find a way to keep cool.
No, we're not.
Our animal friends are trying to find a way to keep cool too. Like, check this dude out. This dude is chilling.
He is chilling. He's like, it's a hot day. There's a pool with water. I'm just going to lay my big black body right here.
Furry, furry, furry. We got a story here. This is from CNN. This is actually local to us in Virginia. Near the I lost my note. All right, near George Washington National Forest in Fort Valley, Virginia, there was a woman out tending to her garden, and she had a visitor. He wandered around the yard and then found the pool, put one paw in, put the rest of himself in, then kind of readjusted himself, and just promptly decided to pass out in the pool and relax for about an hour until the lady's grandkids got home with the dog and started making too much noise. So then the bear decided to leave.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Like you said, reported on CNN. The lady goes, Regina Keller. She actually recognized the bear, and she hadn't seen him in 2 years. So she was like, "Hey, home sweet home." So it is pretty funny, and it just epitomizes just the chill mode that we like to find in the summer. So it affects every creature, including black bears.
Right. I mean, this is awesome and fun, and this spirit is probably a good way to kind of close out odds and ends, close out what we've been working on.
Kind of chill.
Just kind of chill and relax, because even though it's hot and miserable, we're all stuck at home. We can find elements like this to make us just take a moment and relax.
I need to go invest in the pool now.
Yeah, well, hopefully you can get one that's a little bit bigger than that.
I can fit in that probably.
Okay.
Yep. Win-win for the small guy.
That's fair. That's fair. Alrighty. Alright, Shadow Mains, thank you for hanging out with us, my friend. We'll catch you on your next stream. Go check them out, Shadow Mains at twitch.tv. Alrighty. So, we're all kind of done with that. Oh, I know what we can do.
Oh yeah.
I even got a little bonus here too, I think.
Bonus cheddar.
Oh yeah. Over here on our schedule. So those are all the links you can find us and whatnot. And I got a little promo artwork for this Saturday to check out episode 10 of Challenge Accepted. It's going to be this next part of the party infiltrating the Sea Ghost to see what they find. We left at a pretty decent cliffhanger. If you're wanting to know what happened, that video is out on YouTube. This is a first. I have it out before the podcast. So go to YouTube, look for Scuba Studio on YouTube. Go check it out. Like and follow there. Help me get up to where I can get that custom URL for YouTube. That would be really awesome. Well, I thank you, and also if you got access to Amazon Prime, you could use your Prime subscription to subscribe for a month. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it's a bonus if you have Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
Throw it out there.
Yep, I love Amazon Prime. I just used it to get me a John Wick Pop Funko. Scuba knows. He saw me buying it on the phone before this podcast.
And he'll show us next week, I promise.
Yeah, when it shows up. I might not bring it in the house. It might get stolen, so I might do it from afar.
Yep, gotta watch out for those swarm of spiders. But with that, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us.
Thank you
for Realmsmith and the raid.
Thank you.
A great way to kick off the show. Thank you to the community. Thank you to all of you who subscribed, follow, checked us out tonight. Continue to check us out and support us. Every type of support is helpful because it takes resources to do this, and we want to continue to grow. And without the community, we can't grow. So much love to the community. As I said, next week we'll talk more about the 24-hour stream and talk a little bit more about the game and whatnot and the itinerary. We'll have more reviews and more things and figure out who I'm going to ask to come and hang out with us next from Realmsmith. Because we started, may as well make it a set.
Who's next?
With that, thank you, everybody.
Peace.
Oh, wait. Gal can still see us as we do this because I rebuilt those overlays.
Yes.
Oh, what was I thinking?
Hi.
you know, I wanted to take it up a notch. So, you know, I read this. We got our latest follower, latest subscriber. We're just kind of rambling now because, you know.
Yeah, there's nothing else going on.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Yes. Oh, and before I forget, thank you to the mods.
You
Mods,
are a
much
blessing.
love. I could not do this without the mods.